I wanted to thank everybody who subscribed. I hit 50 this morning, which is awesome. Number 50, I believe, was DX, so thanks, man. Really appreciate you subscribing. I also want to thank, make sure I get this right, Mercury's Ultimatum. I think I said that right. He shouted me out in a video, which was unexpected. Thanks. It got me a couple last night, so put me into the 50 mark. Just wanted to say that I'm gonna have 50 giveaway contests this week. I'm waiting for 2 things to come in that are the prizes, and then I'll put that up when that all gets all the stuff together. So I'm excited for that. So hopefully everyone enters and likes my prizes. They're not as amazing as some of them I've seen out there. There's been some great contests lately. Little overflowings of contests, but that's good. I also want to talk about some wrestling, so let's get into that. I was excited to find these because I forgot I had them. They're in the other room with a bunch of Blu-rays. And then I was also a little bummed when I actually looked at them. Not that the events were bad, but just that three of the people on here aren't wrestling anymore, all for different reasons, but I'll get into that. First we have Combat Zone Wrestling CZW with Walking on Pins and Needles. I'm trying to remember, the main match was obviously Barefoot Thumbtacks and Needle Death Match. Right there. That was a good match. That's the one I remember the most, with J.C. Bailey versus Thumbtack Jack. The sad thing is J.C. Bailey died last year, and Thumbtack Jack broke his back. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but he's retired now. So that's 2 really entertaining deathmatch wrestlers gone. Really good entertaining deathmatch wrestlers are short and few between, so it's sad. And then also you have Nick Gage versus John Moxley, which I remember was also a decent match. And Nick Gage robbed a bank and is in jail, so there's another deathmatch wrestler gone. So that's 3. It's a lot to lose in a year's time. I'm trying to remember the other matches on here. Sadly, I can't. There's a 13 Brain Damage versus Danny Havoc and Necro Butcher. I love Danny Havoc, but I can't really remember the match, so I don't know. At least the main title card, I guess. I'm not sure if it was even the main event, but it was a sick match. They used like needles, like literally long needles, and stuck them in their foot. I believe they slid one in his throat area, not literally in his throat, but just through the skin. It was still sick enough. Sick stuff, but I guess that's why you go watch Deathmatch. Next up, we got another CZW with a Tournament F9. I honestly can't remember who won, but there were some good matches on here. They flew in a Big Japan guy, Kobayashi. I'm probably butchering that, but had Nick Gage, J.C. Bailey, Danny Havoc, Scotty Vortex, Dysfunction, Masada, and Devin Moore. A lot of people like to hate on Devin Moore, but I enjoy him. This was a good event. Tournament of Deaths usually are fantastic deathmatch events. I know they've been kind of getting into weird finales with like 4 or 3 ways. Sometimes they turn into giant clusterfucks. Although one year was not their fault. Gage got hurt really bad and had to leave, and he got flown out with a helicopter. They just threw some guys out, and then it was just like over, and everyone was confused. But I watched it knowing that he got hurt, so it was still just kind of like, what the fuck. Death in the Valley, Ohio Hatchet Wrestling. A little lesser known company, but it's another deathmatch tournament. Toby Klein, who hasn't really been in much death matches lately, but he's fantastic. Elkview Adams Super Oprah. If you've never heard of Super Oprah, it's I believe it is a guy dressed as a girl. I could be wrong, but I believe that's the gimmick. David Day, who is kind of a newcomer to the deathmatch scene. I don't know, my friend and I like to make fun because he has this creepy porn star-esque tiny mustache, but he's actually pretty entertaining to watch. Bailey's in this one as well. Viper, Bildo, and Wax. Viper and Bildo, sometimes not. They can be kind of sloppy. I enjoy Wax. He hasn't been getting enough shows, and maybe he hasn't wanted at many shows, but he was the cameraman at CCW. He took still pictures, and next thing you know, he's in the ring. But he's entertaining. He's willing to jump off stuff, so you gotta have one of those type of guys. Freak Show, I've never cared for him. He's just a big guy that swings stuff. So when you get matches with him, there's usually not a lot of stuff going on. Drake Younger's in this, who's fantastic. I believe J.C. Bailey won this one. Bailey's had an interesting couple years before he died. He went to jail for drugs, got back out, started deathmatch wrestling again. It was like he was never missed a beat. You know, he's right back into it. Went to jail again, I believe for stealing TVs. I'm not positive. Got back out. Boom, back to deathmatch stuff. Won, I think, 2 tournaments in 2010. And sadly, he passed away, I believe, in his sleep. There's plenty of rumors of what it was, but I ain't gonna get into that. It doesn't really matter. I remember it being an okay event. I believe they're gonna have another one this year, so that's good. I was kind of getting worried about what kind of deathmatch shows were gonna be this year, because IWA for a long time hadn't had any mention. They always have the huge 2-night King of Deathmatch, but they just announced they're having 2 shows in April, so there's hope for a King of the Deathmatch. Of course, you got Tournament of Death. IWA East Coast used to have they always had the best show every year with Masters of Pain, but they I don't think they were pulling enough numbers, so they didn't have Masters of Pain last year, so it's probably not going to be Masters of Pain this year. Just barely one came out, IWA Deep South, which hasn't had any shows for a while. They had their deathmatch show the year before, I think Carnage Cup. It wasn't that great. They just had a bunch of people I've never seen before, which is fine, but most of them are just looked like dudes that walked off the street, you know, like they wrestled in their backyard. They just barely put out an event. Again, another Carnage Cup I actually want to see. I think there was only a couple names I noticed, but I saw the trailer they put out, and it looks like it might be a decent show. It's hard to tell from a trailer, but I'll probably get it anyways. On the non-deathmatch front, you have CCW has an event coming up. I believe it's... oh crap, I can't forget what it's called, but the lineup looks amazing. It's going to be all wrestling, but that's fine. And Shakara, I think that's how you say it. They just put out a couple events I'm interested in, so I'm sure we're going to see another wrestling update pretty soon, because I'm a sucker and I always buy a bunch of indie shows. Speaking of indie, M-Dog20, who's one of my favorite indie wrestlers, is actually going to be in WWE's Tough Enough this year. I think it's coming in April. I don't know why he has to go through the show to maybe make it to WWE. They should just bring him in because he's fucking amazing. But whatever. If this is how he has to do to get there, then I'm all for it. I'd never heard of most of the other people on there, so I don't know. But I'll be honestly kind of bummed if he doesn't make it, because that'd be ridiculous, because he's done some crazy stuff. If you've never heard of him, go check out some clips, be amazed, and cheer for him on Tough Enough. Thanks for watching.